Hi, it's Lou Theodore and this is day 25 of 100 videos in 100 days. And 25, a quarter of a way through this project. And that's a kind of, that's a really strange thing, because in one way, in one hand, it feels like I've been doing these videos forever. And on the other hand, it feels like I've only just started. That's interesting, isn't it, when you have those, you have to hold the paradox of those two things, but that's how it seems. And today my only trip out of the house was to the supermarket. But I have enjoyed looking at the big expanse of blue sky out of the studio window. That's been really nice. And yeah, I feel quite mesmerised by the blue sky at the moment. Maybe because it's, spring has kind of only just arrived, so it's all a bit of a novelty. And it's still cold, which I'm afraid to say, hands up, I love. I love it, chilly. I don't do so well in the heat because I'm so pale. I have to go around with what feels like a centimetre of factor 50 sunscreen on all the time. So this weather suits me perfectly. And when I was out, I think we all know I kind of get into conversations now when I'm out. Doesn't matter whether it's a trip on the bus, the supermarket, whatever. And I had quite a lot of shopping, heavy bag. I had a handbag with a really heavy book in it, an art book, because I thought I might stop for a coffee, but I didn't. So anyway, you know, when you feel really burdened with all that shopping and stuff. So I'm waiting at the bus stop. I've got a seat sort of thing, and a lady comes over, much older than me, and I offer her my seat. And she sort of pauses. Maybe she doesn't want it. And then she takes the seat, and then she starts crying. And what she said was, "It's so kind of you to offer my seat." And started crying again. And I thought, oh goodness, this can't be over the seat. It can't be over the seat. And of course it wasn't. She'd been to the hospital, the local hospital, was on her second or third bus to get back home. Her friend was very, very ill and she was upset. And that small act of kindness, connection, just made all the difference to her somehow. And she sort of connected to her heart and the emotion of the situation and everything. And it made me remember a small act of kindness that I received. So a number of years back, I was standing at a bus stop and I was incredibly upset. And I was doing that thing where you desperately trying to hold it all in because, you know, you don't want to make a public display. You don't want to be the woman snivelling at the bus stop. You know, there's all that. The thing about that. And I was desperately trying to kind of stay contained. And I couldn't. And I just started crying and I couldn't stop. And I was mortified. I wish the bus... if I could have disappeared in a puff, I would have done. I was absolutely mortified. And obviously people had noticed and were sort of, you know, looking away, pretending it wasn't happening, which was all right, you know. I was grateful for that in a way. But then an older lady came over to me and she gave me a tissue. She didn't say anything, she just gave me a tissue, which I was so grateful for because by this time, you know, makeup is streaming down the face. Awful. And then she went and back, sat down, and I couldn't stop. So she came back over and gave me a packet of the tissues, her packet out of her bag. And I said to her, are you sure? And she said, I think you need them much more than I do right now. And then she went to walk away and she turned around to me and she said, I don't know what it is that's making you so upset. And I know it seems impossible right now, but it will pass. It will pass. And then she just went off, sat down. I got on a bus, so thankful for the tissues, and just made my way home. Do you know, that was about 6 or 7 years ago. And I have never, ever forgotten that woman. That tiny act was so kind. But also at that time, I felt awful about myself. And that, I think that was part of the reason I just couldn't stop crying. And it sort of, just her seeing me, acknowledging me, helping me, made me feel a bit better. Like I wasn't terrible. And so I've never forgotten it. And I guess that's what the video is about today. When you do these tiny little acts of kindness for people, you don't know what they mean. You don't know because I think that, it sounds ridiculous to say it, but I think that tissue giving was actually a bit of a turning point for me. And that woman, of course, has no idea that it was that significant. So do the tiny acts of kindness. Doesn't take a lot of effort and it might mean the world to someone. Day 25.